Hey, Taco Tuesday fans, this is Christian Brindle.
And I am Glenn Shelton.
We came together and combined our forces to create something special for insurance agents called Taco Tuesday. Let's taco about insurance. My company, Christian Brindle Insurance Services,
and my company, Lead Heroes,
is here to bring you the latest and greatest news happening in the insurance industry today and eat some tacos while we do it.
If you enjoy the content that we put out on this podcast, feel free to leave us a review or subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes.
Without further ado, let's get into this episode of Taco Tuesday.
Welcome.
What's up, guys? This is Taco Tuesday. My name's Christian Brindle. These are my keys.
I thought you were grabbing tacos. I was like, you have tacos?
No, I don't have tacos. I
did like tin foil on tacos. Oh, it's tacos.
It's tacos.
Not
tacos. I'm Christian Brindle. He's Glenn Shelton. Whichever way the camera ends up putting us in the recording of this. And this is Taco Tuesday. Let's talk about insurance. Hope you guys are having a great week. And we have a good episode for you today. What should we bullshit about today, though, before we get into the topic?
Ooh, part of me feels like we should have an open brainstorming discussion on our live Taco Tuesday episode. Which this is going to be huge, you guys. We're planning on a live Taco Tuesday. So we're going to do it in the entrance, like the lobby of the hotel, right? The day of check-in. So we'll probably get there early. We don't necessarily know an exact time, like 3:00 maybe?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that day, there will be a welcome party that evening for everybody at the summit. It'll be at an off spot location from the hotel, but it's probably 5-10 minutes away from the hotel. It's really close, and that is likely going to kick off at either 7 or 8. We're trying to determine what would be a good time to start it at. I would say we do. I don't know yet. What do you think? 7 or 8, or maybe even 7:30?
Are you talking about for the party that night?
The party. We're trying to figure out when the party starts.
Probably the later the better. If people are checking in late, like I'm going out of town next week. By the time I check in and get my room, it'll probably be almost 8.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking for people checking in late, 8:00 or so would be great.
Yeah, I agree with that. So that's probably what it's going to be. It's going to be 8:00 for the welcome party. So before that, to anybody that gets there earlier, we will be doing a live Taco Tuesday, probably around 3:00, like Glenn said, in the lobby of the hotel. And it will be live streamed and it will be recorded, of course. But then anybody that's arrived early and checked in already, remember, if you want to get your lanyard and everything you need, you got to check in with my staff. So you got to do that. We'll talk about it more as it gets
closer. Are we gonna have like chairs? Like we're gonna set up an audience?
We could. I don't know.
That would be.
I don't know if the hotel will let us do that. We could try.
That would be sick to have like 20 chairs, 30 chairs.
I mean, I'm wondering if they'll let us into the ballroom. We could do it on the stage even, but I don't know. We might have to pay for a whole nother day of the ballroom to do that. But
that might be worth it, though. Depending on, I guess it kind of depends on how many people would actually show up early enough.
I don't think there's going to be a tremendous amount of people. I think there will be some people that come in the morning on Thursday. Yeah. So from my experience with these events, I think there are people that come early, but I don't think it'd be a majority. I think a majority probably will come later on in the day, but we'll figure it out. We'll let you guys know more about it as it gets closer, but
we'll keep you posted.
This will be the first ever live Taco Tuesday in person.
So again, if you're coming to the 6-figure Medicare Agent Summit this June 10th and 11th in Salt Lake City, we will be doing a live Taco Tuesday around 3:00 the day of check-in. So the 9th.
Yes. June 9th.
This is happening. Christian and I have already committed. It's just a matter of details. Even if you're not planning on going, you're going to want to watch the live stream. So stay tuned. It's going to be epic.
Yeah. I mean, and the event in general is just going to be fantastic. I don't want to turn this episode into summit episode, but I mean, the event's going to be great. So it's just another phenomenal thing that will be taking place at the event. My entire office is very excited about it. And yeah, I mean, we're ready to go. We're just itching for it to get closer. And
just itching.
Yeah.
Itching, scratching. Christian, what are we talking about today for Taco Tuesday?
So today we're talking about
what are we tacoing about?
We're tacoing about selling Medicare in the off season, meaning post OEP, which is January 1st to March 31st, where you have the Medicare Advantage open enrollment period where people can make one change during that 3-month time period, and before AEP, which is October 15th through December 7th, which is, of course, all of us know the true open season, the free for all time period where all the changes come out. So this is kind of in between that time period. And sometimes Medicare agents can kind of view the off season, as I'll call it, really from from maybe April to September, right? They kind of look at this as like this barren wasteland kind of time period where Medicare agents are literally starving and dying on the grounds and the streets because there's no business to write or whatever. Totally ridiculous. I mean, there's plenty of business you can write. This is a year-round business. Of course, there's more people you can write during those enrollment periods. However, you can still do really well if you target the right people and have the right strategies in the off-season. That's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, I keep thinking of professional athletes and their off-season, right? Mm-hmm. Even like a serious college athlete. What do you think a successful athlete's off-season looks like? What do you think? I mean, I can tell you from the content that I've seen from professional athletes, they are putting in the time and the work. They're working out just as hard. Sometimes they're working out harder than they do during the actual time of the season of their play. Mm-hmm. So this idea that an off season is a time to take a break, a time to not worry about selling, I think it's kind of absurd. I do think there's some agents out there who, well, I know for a fact, I know without a doubt, there's agents out there where they won't even sell OEP. They're only selling AEP. And so there's definitely agents who sell AEP and OEP, and then they just take off the whole summer.
Yeah, there's a lot of people like that. There's a lot of agents like that. One of the common misconceptions that I'll hear when I talk to agents that are maybe unfamiliar with the Medicare field is they'll say, "Oh, it's just a seasonal business, right?"
Right.
And absolutely not. I mean, Christian Brindle did 52 apps in May last year, like just May. You know what I mean? So it's all about the way you look at it and who you want to believe, right? You want to believe the people that are in the final expense world that have never sold Medicare, that's their way to knock it, or do you want to believe the people in the Medicare space? I would say, let's talk about specifically like what kind of people can people go after, right, in the off season? Because obviously, you know, like I said, there is more people you can go after during AEP. That is true.
Correct.
It's probably the prime time opportunity. So the people that you likely will not be able to go after would be people that are maybe on Medicare Advantage plans. They're not low income. They don't qualify for any kind of special enrollment period. There's no 5-star plans in the area. Maybe they're stuck on their Medicare Advantage plan for some reason or another. Those are the people that you can't really do much with in the off season.
Right.
The people that you can work with are people that are on Medicare Advantage plans and they're in low income situations. So you have the DSNP world, right? The Medicare Medicaid world, and because they have a quarterly SEP that they can use to change plans for the first 3 quarters of the year. They can't do it in the fourth quarter. You have Med Sup replacements, which Glenn knows really well, which is 12 months all year round. As long as they can pass health questions and underwriting, they're good. and you have T65. So I'd love to dive into all of these a little bit deeper.
The one thing that stood out there, the MedSup replacements year round, it baffles me how there's still a lot of agents out there who are like surprised by that, or it's unknown to them, or they think AEP is all Medicare supplement and Advantage. Like you would think something basic like that people would know. Then and that was all obviously then there's a whole slew of other products outside of Medicare that you could be selling as well, especially if you have a life health license. It's wild. Honestly, it is a wild idea of that life and health license, how many different lines of insurance you're actually able to sell with that one license. Technically, I guess it's two, but disability insurance, life insurance, cancer insurance, dental insurance. Do you have to be a licensed agent to sell pet insurance? I know a bunch of agents who are getting into pet insurance. I know that should be its own episode. We should talk about pet insurance, its own episode.
From my understanding with pet insurance, I think it's a PNC license actually, because pets are
really
property.
Okay, there you have it, you guys. I guess that's not life health, but
I looked into it myself because I wanted.
Have you heard of people killing it?
Into it?
I've heard of people who kill it with pet insurance.
I'd love to.
I want to sell pet insurance leads. I want to be like, it's like, hi, Mrs. Jones. Is that a dog barking in the background? Would you like some pet insurance? We'll have an agent contact you.
There's someone at my front door.
Hello.
Who are you?
Bing bong.
I have this new Ring doorbell, guys. So I can look at people. I can be like,
get away from my house. Hey.
Yeah. But I'm wondering.
Get away from my mansion. While Christian's investigating who's robbing his house, I'll keep things going here. So pet insurance, obviously, again, that's kind of a weird one I'm throwing out there, but short-term care, long-term care. Life insurance in itself, there's so many different types of life insurance, accidental death, simplified issue, whole life, IULs, financial products. That's a whole nother one, right? Annuities. It's really, there's a huge plethora, and the vast majority of agents focus on just the one or two products. I'll sell final expense life insurance and I'll sell MedSup. That's it. And you have all of these other options that you could be pursuing during the year between this blackout period. And then you can circle back and start cross-selling both groups. So you could be, let's say you're selling final expense almost exclusively between April 1st and October 1st. And then you're selling Medicare Advantage almost exclusively from October until end of March. And then you can start to kind of mix and match those clients. Maybe you're following up with your final expense clients during OEP or AEP.
Yeah.
And you're helping them and vice versa. And you can start to kind of go back and forth. And I think that's a really great strategy. And a lot of agents don't do it.
I agree. I think that that's a really great point. Another thing that makes me think of that I think is a really good reason to be selling in the off season in some capacity, even if you're selling another product, right? Even if you're not selling Medicare particularly, maybe you're selling, that time of the year is when you sell final expense, right? Or whatever the case might be, or annuities. What I would say, from that standpoint is it's a great time of the year, even if you're trying to sell Medicare only. Let's just assume like maybe you're afraid of other products, right? And you're trying to only sell Medicare. It's a great time to fill your pipeline, because I guarantee you're going to run into a lot of people you can't write for whatever reason. And then you have this whole plethora of people that you can check back with during AEP as well. So some people, I would make the argument that selling year round actually helps you have a better AEP as well, because you have a
without a doubt. With that's not even a question. If it's so easy to have that conversation and be like, well, I can't help you right now, but what I can do, Mrs. Jones, is October 15th, I'll follow up with you.
Yeah.
And boom. And if you're just like passively collecting those, I can't tell you how many agents I know who do this. I think the majority don't, but the ones that do this, they'll go into AEP with 100 people or more that they already talked to earlier in the year, where they said, let me get back to you when I can actually help you, which will be in October later this year. And that's a huge leg up. Huge.
I can tell you guys this. The first couple of days of October would be, if not the first week of October, typically for me as an agent, in my first probably 4 or 5 years, would be taken up from calling my pipeline list, is what I would call it. My pipeline list of people that I have talked to over the course of the year that wanted or gave me permission to get back with them during AEP. And I could get, depending on how big that list is, I could get 10, 15, maybe 20 appointments in October after the 15th scheduled just from that list right there. I haven't even started working leads. I haven't even started getting referrals, right? I mean, that's just, and let's say I close 50% of them. I think you should close more than 50% of the people you actually sit down with, but let's just be conservative and say I close 50% of them, right? Right there, I've written like 7 or 8 apps, right? But it's not unrealistic to maybe say that you could write 15, 20, 30 apps just from your pipeline list, right? And then you're trying to write 100 apps during AEP. That's kind of like the standard, like the gold standard that everyone's trying to get to. You could maybe get 40, 50 out of that if you have a big enough pipeline list, right? So that gives you such an advantage and a great start to your AEP. I think it's vitally important.
I don't know if you could say it any better. I mean, honestly, but again, it comes back to being consistent, having to put in the work. I mean, that's really the bottom line here with having a successful quote unquote off season, learning new products, doing different types of marketing. There's going to be some changes. You can't keep doing what you do all other, your other playing season during AEP and OEP. Your game might have to change to continue to be successful. But once you do that, once you learn these other lines of insurance or other types of policies that you want to offer, and then you're able to start kind of weaving it all together, I think it builds a really strong foundation, between being able to cross-sell consistently and being able to pivot. I mean, also from a diversity standpoint, like diversification of what, like, the age-old thing that comes up with Medicare sales over and over and over is, oh, well, the government's going to go to a Medicare for all or one-payer health system, and the whole thing's going to collapse next year. The sky's falling, Chicken Little. Okay, if that's really the case, if that's the concern, why not incorporate a second line of insurance like life insurance, like annuities, like cancer insurance, dental, vision, hearing insurance, like whatever it is. Again, there's so many different, that's just off top of my short-term care, disability. It's crazy, guys. There's so much opportunity. That license gives you so much opportunity. I know agents who exclusively sell disability insurance. They don't sell anything but disability insurance, and they crush it. I know agents who focus exclusively almost on cancer insurance, where they lead with cancer insurance and anything else is kind of a cross-sell or a secondary offer, and they do really well. Mm-hmm. So, I think there's this, I don't know, false narrative almost that's going around in the insurance community. Like, you got to just sell one thing. I don't know. We've talked about this before with cross-sell.
Definitely. I mean, another thing, you mentioned the athletes in their off season, right? I think this is a good analogy. Think about somebody like a LeBron James,
John Moran,
whoever you want to pick, right? I think about when I think about LeBron, this is what I think about, because
I don't know if LeBron's going to be a good analogy, bro.
I'm going good with it.
Okay, never mind. Okay, I don't want to jump the gun.
Going somewhere good with this. So let's think about LeBron when he comes into the league, right? At 18, wherever old he is. He doesn't have a jump shot. He doesn't have post game, but what he does have is he can slash to the basket, finish at the basket. He's super athletic. He's a naturally gifted player, right? He can pass, so he can do all these things, right? Over time, he becomes a more consistent jump shooter. In one summer, I read about recently how he spent some time, I think it was like in the 2010s, somewhere in there, works with Hakeem Olajuwon in the summer, develops some post moves, right? Now he's got that like little post, like fadeaway jump shot kind of thing. It kind of comes and goes. Sometimes he's LeBrick with it, but but my point is, like, if you look at him, maybe let's say when he won the championship in Cleveland, right? Where his game was and what he could do versus what he was when he came into the league, he was a much more complete player, right? He was a better shooter. He was a better shot creator. He's a much better defensive player because he would add things to his game every summer. And that was well documented. Kobe Bryant, same thing. Kobe Bryant would always try to work on something different in the off season, right? So that's what I think about, like, you add something to your approach. So I think learning another product could probably relate to that for an agent.
I think that was a wonderful analogy. And there's a lot of professional basketball players specifically that do exactly that. One that came to mind as you were talking there, Jerry Rice. I was a huge Jerry Rice fan growing up. If you don't know who Jerry Rice is, he was
the GOAT.
Record holder. Yeah. If the best, if not still the best to ever be a wide receiver in the NFL.
Yep.
And I know his biography pretty well. Like, I know his background and his work ethic. And during the summer, during the off season in the NFL, he was running the hills. I don't know how much and how consistent, but he was doing hill runs, I think, almost daily during the summer. So compare it to someone who's working out like baseline, or they're not really working out. They're kind of taking a break, taking summer off. And those two athletes in August, when camp starts, who do you think has a leg up? Jerry Rice, who's been running hills all summer, or the athlete who took it kind of slow, the other wide receiver who took time off, and then he's trying to get in shape in August before kickoff in September. And Jerry, by the end of the camp, Jerry Rice is playing at his best level because he's put in the work. He put in the off-season work, and it's insurance sale. It's the same game, same exact thing. You could sell more insurance during your off-season and set you up for that AEP, the real season, the on season. I don't know what the best terminology is there, but it really is the same game, you guys. You just got to put in the work.
Yep, I agree. I mean, and even if, like, again, even if you don't want to do another product, even if you just wanted to do Medicare, let's say, like, you probably do a lot of Medicare Advantage during AEP. A lot of us do. You could focus specifically on med subs for the summer because they're a year-round game, right? You could get really good at med subs, right? You could pump out 50 to 100 grand in annual premium in the summer.
Yes. Sell over the phone. It's super doable. You could start selling annuities. You just sell one annuity during that whole off season, and you're pretty much set. Like, it's crazy. Just I wish the average agent or the new agent that came into the business understood the opportunity. Just how much opportunity there really is.
I agree. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't have a whole lot to add. I think it was very well said.
That's it, guys. That's it. It's short. It's sweet. It's to the point,
but it's good. It's what you guys need to hear. And it's true. It's good information.
Yeah. Valuable information. And again, we're talking about this because this is timely, right? We want this to get out to agents who are trying to figure out what the next move is, because maybe they didn't plan out past OEP. Maybe they're getting to the end of March and they're looking at vacations and they're thinking it's over till October. It's not. It's not.
Yep. That's right, guys. That's right. Mr. Shelton, final thoughts on this topic?
Man, I think if you are going to start incorporating cross-selling, I've said this before on the show and I'll kind of say it again. I think it's important to learn a product kind of one at a time and build on what you've already came to an understanding with. So if you're trying to learn, I'm going to learn short-term care, annuities, and cancer insurance. I've never sold any of them, and I'm going to try to do all of them at once. That's a recipe for failure. If you have already been selling Medicare for 6 months or more, and then all of a sudden, because the off season's coming, you want to incorporate one other I think that's a great recipe for success, is building on what you've already came to understand, that you have a good knowledge of, and then taking one ancillary product at a time and kind of building on your different offers that you have. So that's my final thoughts. Christian, final thoughts on selling during OEP. Take it away.
Yeah,
selling post OEP.
Yes. I would say, guys, there's so much opportunity out there, and I think you're going to be infinitely more successful just by doing business in the off season, but also having a better AEP. It just helps you in a myriad of ways in your business to treat it like a year-round business, right? Like, and I think if you do that, it's what all the successful people do, right? Like Boomer Benefits doesn't take off summer.
Good Lord, no.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
Medicare Bob is not taking off summer.
I'm not taking off any summer months. Christian's not taking any summer months off.
No. So who do you want to be like? Do you want to be like the people that are leading the industry, or do you want to not? Right.
That's a mic. That was like a mic drop right there.
Yeah. I mean, the people that are at the top of our industry work year round. So you should too. That'd be my final thoughts.
Done. That's a wrap, you guys.
Guys, we appreciate you guys. As always, if you enjoyed this episode, give us a 5-star review on the platforms that you're listening to that allow it, or if you're watching on YouTube, please like the video. It helps so much with the YouTube algorithm. Make sure to comment your thoughts below. You guys agree? Do you disagree? We'd love to have an interaction with you, a friendly one. And make sure to hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel if you're not already. And we'll be back next Tuesday. And appreciate you guys, and watch for the live one at the summit.
That's right. Keep eating tacos. Keep selling insurance.
In large volume.
Large volume, baby. That's what we're all about.
Later, guys.